Beloved, welcome back to the shop. So most people consider me to be a misogynist from different things that I say, and whatever label they want to put on there, I could not care less. My last short, I made a comment about heavy equipment or any equipment in general, and women don't tend to get along very well in my experience. And I'll share with you some of my experiences when it comes to that. I'm sick and tired of feminism and boomers telling me that there's no difference between men and women. I'm not saying one's better than another. I'm not up here to crawl up upon my manure pile and crow that I'm the superior race, but we do have our strengths and we do have our weaknesses. I'll tell you just one of many examples throughout my life that I've had where women have come in and destroyed something that was working so well before them. The reason why I quit being a structural firefighter was because of women. I was in a department in Colorado. We ran 3 shifts from two different stations. And it was a really good group of guys. We were up at about 10,000 feet. Everyone was very fit. Everyone took their jobs very seriously, especially me. I was so fit at that time that I had the fastest time for the PAC test in wildland firefighting in the county. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to demonstrate that we took this seriously and we trained and we relied upon one another if we needed if we ever got in danger. I knew that if I fell down with a full SCBA and a hose bundle and all my bunker gear, that my fellow teammates could drag me and get me out of there to safety, and vice versa, right? Because they were strong, capable men that trained for the particular job. About 6 months into that, the chief decided that he wanted to be inclusive and bring in some women, some younger women into this environment. Well, immediately what happened was what was once a brotherhood of guys that would cover shifts for one another, that would help out. We would go out afterwards, we'd play basketball, we would drink beer together. We just were always together. The injection of these 2 women, and these women were very promiscuous. They were 304s. They started sleeping with, going through all of the guys on multiple shifts. And then they would break up with one. And then pretty soon, within just 3 or 4 months, the whole cohesion and the whole brotherhood was completely broken up, and there were guys that were at odds with one another. It got so bad where the guys started to hate each other, where you wouldn't cover shifts for the other guys that were once your friends because of the jealousy and all of the strife and just what these chaos demons brought to this department. It didn't take 6 months for them to completely destroy all morale, destroy anyone wanting to be there before guys started leaving or looking for other places. It was absolutely a disaster. And they never tried, these women, they never tried to better themselves, in my opinion. They didn't improve themselves physically. I think that they liked to be there because it gave them access to a lot of guys. They thought that they looked cute in the uniform, and they got a whole bunch of attention. In my opinion, they weren't serious about the job. And for one, not only did it destroy the department, but it also put the community at risk. It put everyone at risk. I remember, well, I'm not going to go into details, but if you want to call me misogynist, I couldn't care less. I'm a critical thinker. My eyes are open. I can see and I can draw upon my years of experience, and I understand that there is a difference between men and women. And so for some academic or some feminist or for some young person to tell me that everything needs to be equal all the time or we're all the same and women can just do everything that men can do, that's just simply not true. We do things, I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but it's simply not true. And women can do things that men struggle with. You know, we all have our strengths, but let's cut through the nonsense of everything that I can do as a 200-pound athletic, capable man that your average 130, 40-pound woman can do. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. So let's get over it and appreciate the differences and cultivate those so that we can stop fighting one another and stop competing. Because the last thing I'll tell you, and this is a guide to my female watchers, the last thing a man wants to do, if you're trying to figure out why you can't land a man, is to come home after doing battle with the world and compete and fight with a woman. She should be there to support. She should be behind the scenes supporting him, lifting him up so that the whole family can increase, can live in a better place, can have nicer food, nicer vacations, better clothing for their kids, drive better cars. You don't get that way when you're sleeping with the enemy. You need to be rowing in unison If you got one person rowing one way and one person rowing another way, you spin circles and then you get a divorce and then everything fails. You row in the same direction. So don't compete with one another, support one another. That's it, rant over. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.